What if the universe has a hidden rule that makes faster literally illegal? So, illegal that time will distort before you ever touch the limit. You've been told nothing beats light, like it's a trivia fact. A line in a textbook. But Einstein treated it like a confession the universe is making. I can only let cause and effect travel this fast. Anything more would tear the story apart. Here's the part that should bother you. When you say speed, you imagine moving through space, car, jet, rocket, more engine, more push, more speed. Simple. Except that's not what extreme speed does. Extreme speed doesn't just change where you are. It changes when you are, and the universe doesn't warn you politely. It waits until you're confident, until you feel motion is obvious, and then it flips the table. Because the speed of light isn't just how fast light goes, it's the maximum speed at which events can stay connected. The fastest rate at which one moment can reliably lead to the next, in other words, the speed limit of causality. The limit of this caused that. So when you try to chase light, the universe doesn't say no, it says fine. But I'm going to rewrite your experience. Your clock slows down. Distances warp. Your idea of now starts to smear. Not as poetry, as the only way the rules can remain consistent. Imagine two people watching the same flash. You feel they must agree on what happened and when it happened. That's your brain begging for stability. Einstein's message was brutal. Even at the same time, is negotiable once motion becomes extreme. And that means this speed limit isn't just stopping rockets. It's protecting the structure of reality you depend on without noticing. So the real question isn't why can't we beat light? It's what breaks first our machines, our time, or our definition of reality. Hold that thought, because the next step is where it gets disturbing. To keep light constant, the universe has to sacrifice something you've trusted your whole life. If that just messed with your sense of now, don't rush past it. This is exactly why most people think they understand Einstein, but they're only repeating slogans. The real value here isn't the phrase "nothing beats light." The value is what it forces you to admit. Your everyday reality is a simplified interface, and speed is the crack where you can see the machinery underneath. So I want you to do something for me, pals, for 2 seconds and leave a comment that proves you're actually following the idea, not just watching. Answer this. If the universe has a speed limit, what do you think it's protecting? Time, space, or cause? Even better. Comment one of these exact phrases so I can see where your intuition is right now. Time breaks first, or space breaks first, or cause breaks first. And if you're enjoying this kind of conceptual, mind-bending physics where Einstein isn't just history, he's a knife cutting through your assumptions, hit the like button. It tells the algorithm, this isn't background noise. It's the kind of content people should actually see. And subscribe. Because what we're about to do next is the part nobody explains cleanly. How the universe keeps the speed of light constant by literally rearranging your measurements of time and space. Because once you see that trade, you'll realize you've never actually lived in a single shared now. You feel like speed is simple because your life happens far from the edge. Walking, driving, flying, everything behaves nicely. You move through space, time ticks forward, and now feels solid. That comfort tricks you into believing speed is just distance divided by time. A neutral slider you can push as far as technology allows. Einstein's first move was to quietly remove that slider. Here's the unsettling part. There is no such thing as normal speed in the universe. Motion only exists relative to something else. Sitting still on your couch and racing through space at thousands of kilometers per hour are the same physical state, depending on who's measuring. The ground under your feet is spinning, orbiting a star, drifting inside a galaxy, and yet none of that feels like motion. Your intuition is already lying to you before the story even begins. Now, imagine trying to define speed without a universal reference point. Faster than what? Slower compared to whom? The moment you ask that, honestly, the idea of a shared cosmic stopwatch collapses, you and another observer can move differently and still both be correct. That sounds harmless until you realize what it implies. If motion has no absolute baseline, then time can't either. This is where the universe tightens the rules. Light refuses to care about your motion. Whether you chase it or run away from it, you measure the same speed. That stubborn behavior is not a curiosity. It's a demand. To satisfy it, the universe has to stretch distances and slow clocks differently for different observers. There is no option B. Consistency comes first. Intuition gets sacrificed. Here's the twist most people miss. Nothing feels different to you while this happens. Your heartbeats, thoughts, and memories remain normal. The distortion only appears when realities are compared. Two observers reunite and suddenly disagree on how much time passed, how far something traveled, or which event happened first. The shock isn't that one is wrong, it's that both are right. And once you accept that, speed stops being about motion and starts being about survival. Push closer to the light limit, and the universe doesn't block you with a wall. It quietly removes the shared frame that made reality feel synchronized in the first place. Before we go further, I want to know where this is landing for you. Comment nitrogen monoxide normal speed if you're starting to see why the idea of a universal pace was never real. Or comment relative everything if this already feels unavoidable. Because the next step is where the betrayal becomes personal. The faster you move, the less time agrees with you, and that changes what aging, travel, and even existence really mean. Here's the rule that quietly runs everything. The universe would rather destroy your idea of time than allow light to change its speed. That sounds dramatic, but it's exactly what Einstein realized. If the speed of light is the same for everyone, no matter how fast they're moving, then something else has to give. And it isn't light, it's time. Picture what your intuition demands. If you run toward a beam of light, you expect it to look slower. Common sense says you should catch up, or at least close the gap. But the universe refuses. Light doesn't care how fast you chase it. Instead, your clock starts to misbehave. Seconds stretch. Processes slow. Your personal now begins to drift away from everyone else's. This isn't a glitch. It's a negotiation. To keep light constant, the universe edits the rate at which time flows for you. Not symbolically. Physically. Atomic clocks confirm it. Particles confirm it. Satellites depend on it to work at all. The effect is small at human speeds, which is why the illusion survives. But push harder, and the cost rises fast. And here's the unsettling twist. You never noticed your own time slowing. From the inside, everything feels normal. Your thoughts arrive on schedule. Your pulse doesn't hesitate. The betrayal only appears when you compare experiences. Someone else watches you move and concludes you're aging more slowly. Two realities, both internally consistent, now disagree. That's when the speed limit reveals its true purpose. It's not preventing fast travel, it's preventing contradictions. Without time dilation, different observers would disagree about cause and effect. Events could flip order. Consequences could appear before causes. The universe cannot allow that, not if it wants a coherent story. So as you approach light speed, time isn't damaged randomly. It's sacrificed strategically. Each increase in speed demands a heavier payment in seconds. The closer you get to the limit, the more time stretches toward infinity. Not because light is special, but because reality needs it to be. This is why reaching the speed of light isn't just difficult. It's forbidden by design, not blocked by energy alone, but by the structure of time itself. If this is starting to feel disturbing, that's a good sign. Comment time pays the price if you see why the universe protects light at time's expense. Or comment light is the law if you feel the hierarchy clicking into place. Here's where Einstein stops being abstract and becomes unsettlingly human. You don't need a machine, a wormhole, or science fiction to move into the future. All you need is speed. Imagine saying goodbye to someone you love, stepping onto a ship that moves close to the speed of light, and coming back to find them older than you. Not metaphorically older, biologically older. Their hair changed. Their memories multiplied. Their body moved forward in time faster than yours did. You didn't time travel in the way movies sell it, but you still arrived in a future that wasn't waiting for you. This is the paradox that breaks people's intuition because it violates a moral expectation we didn't know we had. That time should treat everyone fairly. That siblings should age together. That shared history should stay synchronized. Einstein showed that the universe never promised that. From your perspective, the journey feels ordinary. Days pass. Meals happen. Thoughts unfold at their usual pace. Nothing inside you signals that you're becoming temporally detached from the rest of humanity. The universe doesn't ring an alarm. It lets you go quietly out of sync. The shock happens only when timelines collide again. When two lives that started together compare clocks, calendars, and bodhisand, discover that time took sides. One person lived more future than the other. This faisant, a trick of measurement. It's not perspective in the psychological sense. It's a structural feature of reality. Time is not a universal river carrying everyone forward equally. It's a local process negotiated by motion and gravity, customized by your path through space. And here's the deeper betrayal. The universe does this to preserve consistency. If time didn't bend, light couldn't stay constant. If light didn't stay constant, cause and effect would fracture. So the universe chooses coherence over fairness, logic over intuition, structure over comfort. That's why the speed limit isn't enforced with explosions or walls. It's enforced by quietly removing your access to a shared future. The faster you move, the less you participate in the same later as everyone else. Let that sink in and then tell me this in the comments. The future is relative. If this reframed time for you, or time is not fair, if that's the thought you can't shake. Speed feels exotic. Rockets, stars, near-light motion, it all sounds far away from your life. Gravity doesn't. Gravity feels familiar, harmless, constant. And that's why this next idea is more disturbing than everything before it. Even when you're standing still, time is not flowing normally. Einstein's second revelation was cruelly quiet. Gravity is not just something that pulls objects together. It edits time itself. The stronger the gravity, the slower time passes. Not metaphorically, not conceptually, literally. This means time near a massive object like a planet, a star, or a black hole ticks more slowly than time far away. And here's the part your intuition resists. You don't need extreme objects for this to be true. Earth does it right now. The floor beneath your feet is causing your time to move slightly slower than the time of a satellite above your head. Nothing feels different. You breathe, think, blink, everything appears normal. But if you compare clocks precisely enough, the disagreement appears. Time, closer to mass, falls behind. Gravity doesn't just curve space. It sculpts the rhythm of existence. This is where the idea of a speed limit mutates into something deeper. The universe isn't just limiting how fast things move through space. It's regulating how fast moments are allowed to happen. Motion bends time. Gravity bends time. And both do it for the same reason, to keep the structure of reality internally consistent. Here's the unsettling insight. Mass is frozen energy, and energy tells space-time how to bend, which means every object, every planet, every star, every body is quietly editing the flow of time around it just by existing. You are not just moving through time, you are reshaping it locally. That turns gravity from a background force into something intimate. Time is not an external river you float along. It's a variable field you participate in. The universe doesn't give you a single shared clock. It gives you a personalized tempo influenced by where you are and what surrounds you. This also explains why black holes feel so final. Near them, Time stretches towards stillness. Events slow, freeze, fade, not because physics breaks, but because it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do at the extreme edge of consistency. If gravity can slow time simply by being present, then the idea of a universal now is already dead. Not in theory and practice. At this point, the speed limit stops looking like a rule about light and starts looking like a rule about what the universe can safely allow, and the key to that is one of the most misunderstood ideas in human history. Mass and energy are not different things. Einstein didn't just give the world a famous equation. He revealed a terrifying identity. Matter is energy, wearing a mask, stable energy, frozen energy, energy forced into a shape that looks solid and permanent until, you remember, it was never meant to be. That means every object around you is not stuff. It's a compressed budget of energy that the universe is keeping under control. A rock, a spoon, your phone, your body, not poetic energy, literal energy, measurable, convertible, catastrophic if fully released. Now, most people hear that and think of nuclear bombs, because that's the cultural scar we carry. But the deeper implication is existential. If matter is energy, then the solid world you trust is not the fundamental layer. It's a temporary arrangement, a locked configuration, a slow-motion event. And here's the twist that connects. Back to the speed limit. As you try to push matter closer to light speed, you're not just moving stuff faster. You're forcing energy to behave in a way that threatens the universe's bookkeeping. The closer you get to that limit, the more energy the universe demands from you, because it's not letting you cheat the structure. This is why the nothing beats light rule feels so absolute. It's not a preference. It's a conservation of reality. If you could accelerate mass past light speed, you'd break causality. Cause and effect would lose their order. And once order is gone, the universe stops being a story and becomes a contradiction. So the universe does something brutal and elegant. It makes the cost of speed explode. It's not that you hit a wall, it's that the wall becomes infinitely expensive as you approach it. The speed limit isn't a barrier in space, it's a barrier in logic. And now the most personal line in this entire video. You are not made of matter, you are made of energy, trapped in a pattern, moving through a reality where time and space are flexible, and where the deepest laws are designed to prevent paradox. If that sentence feels uncomfortable, good. That discomfort is your intuition, realizing it's been living in a simplified model. Leave a comment that captures your reaction, right? I am trapped energy if this flipped your sense of self, or reality is bookkeeping if the speed limit now feels like a law of coherence, not motion. Because next is the final escalation. If time is flexible, if space is flexible, and if matter is frozen energy, then maybe the universe isn't unfolding at all. Maybe it's already complete and your now is just your brain scanning a finished structure. Actually, at this stage, the speed limit stops feeling like a technical rule and starts feeling like a philosophical trap. Time stretches. Space bends. Matter turns into frozen energy. And through all of it, the speed of light stands untouched and changed by motion, mass, or perspective. That should make you ask a dangerous question. What kind of universe needs a rule like this to exist at all? One unsettling answer is this. Maybe the universe isn't happening the way you feel it is. Einstein's equations quietly allow a picture that feels almost forbidden to think about a universe where past, present, and future all coexist. Not metaphorically, structurally, a four-dimensional block where every event already has a place and what you call now is just where. Your consciousness happens to be slicing through it. In this view, the speed of light isn't just a limit on motion. It's the maximum speed at which information can connect different parts of this block. The fastest rate at which one event can influence another without breaking the internal logic of the structure. Faster than that, and cause and effect would blur. Stories would contradict themselves. reality would lose continuity. This is why the universe guards that limit so aggressively. Time slows, lengths contract, energy costs explode. Anything but never letting information outrun light. Because if it did, the order of events would stop being well-defined. The universe would no longer know what happened before and after. Here's the emotional punch most people aren't ready for. If this picture is even partially true, then the future isn't something that comes into existence. It's something you enter. Your sense of flow, change, and becoming might be a feature of how your brain navigates space-time, not a property of the universe itself. That doesn't mean choice is fake or life is meaningless. It means meaning doesn't come from the universe updating itself moment by moment. It comes from your path through a structure rich enough to contain every possible moment you will ever experience. So when you ask, does the universe have a speed limit? The answer might be far stranger than expected. That limit may exist because the universe is already complete and the speed of light is the rule that keeps its story readable. If you've made it all the way here, you're not just watching physics, you're rewiring your intuition about reality. So here's the deal. Subscribe if you want more videos that take Einstein's ideas and use them to dismantle the comfortable lies your brain tells you about time, space, and now. This channel is for people who don't want slogans. They want the disturbing logic underneath. And hit the like button if this video genuinely changed how you think. It's the simplest way to tell the algorithm. Push this to curious minds instead of burying it under noise. Now I want to comment from you something specific, so I know you stayed for the real twist. Comment. Either the future already exists or now is a perspective. Pick the one that hits you harder. And if you want to go even deeper, add one more line. So what does that mean for free will? I read these, and the best comments shape what we explore next. And don't leave yet, because the next video appearing on your screen is the perfect continuation. Click it, and we'll take this one step further. Not just why nothing beats light, but what happens to reality when you try to break the rules anyway.